Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Invictus Racing League here on Twitch, bringing you Season 12, Round 7 action from the Xbox F1 division, live from Austin at the US Grand Prix. My name is Keiran Wright92, and I am joined, as always, on a Tuesday evening by my broadcast colleague, Dom the Noodle. Good evening, Dom.
Good evening, Keiran. Yes, Circuit of the Americas Kota, 3.4 miles long, and well, there's not really much to say about Kota. It's a pretty new track in comparison to a lot of the other tracks. However, we are going to have a 230-meter sprint to turn 1. There are, yes, 20 turns, 11 to the left and 9 to the right, and the drivers are going to be spending just over half of this track at full throttle, losing about 18.6 seconds in the pit lane. And yeah, there's really not much to say. Very fast-paced track, very long, 1 kilometer straight for drivers to have a bit of overtaking under DRS, and a rather long pit lane.
Indeed. So for those who missed our last race in Austria, it was once again Liverpool Ewan 02 on that top step of the podium, his 4th win this season. James F1 ETC's Mercedes in 2nd, with Botch Gerbil picking up that P3 for the Williams team. So, moving into week 7, the first race in the second half of the championship, Liverpool Ewan leading the Drivers' Championship by 29 points from AlphaTauri's Farfu 11, who unfortunately isn't racing this evening, so big opportunity for Liverpool Ewan there to build on some points, with DJ Danny currently sitting in 3rd position in the other Renault. In terms of constructors, it is that Renault team of Liverpool Ewan 02 and DJ Danny currently sitting in 1st place on 137 points, a massive 63 points ahead of that AlphaTauri team of Farfu and CJ Allen, with the Williams team of Botch Gerbil and ex-HRC on 57 points in 3rd. So Dom, who do you think we need to be looking out for here in Texas?
Texas, fast-paced track. A lot of the fast-paced drivers will do well here. I personally believe DJ Danny's one to look out for. He does like his straights. He does like a bit of overtaking into quite a few sharper corners. James would be a good one to look out for as well. Again, he's very much the same. And El Senado, he's had a bit of an awkward run in his first few races, but I'm really hoping he does a bit different. And with a week off as well, the drivers and ourselves were feeling a bit more refreshed going into this week. We've had a break, we've had time to sort of refresh. I mean, I know ex-HRC has said that he hasn't touched F1 in a week, and he is very much worried about his wheel, so he is also definitely one to watch out for, just on the chance that something does go wrong with his wheel. And say for instance he loses his FFP, it's going to make turning easier for him, but he's not really going to know the boundaries where the wheels might start to slip. So yeah, whilst turning force will be a lot easier on him, it's definitely going to be a problem for traction. We are having a few problems at the moment. Like I said, XHRC's just got back, so he's loading up now. CJ Allen's just had to reset his Xbox, so yeah, we're going to be a bit later than usual, leading into the race by the looks of things.
That's not a problem at all. We've got El Senado in the Twitch chat. Yeah, been turbulent on my Tuesday night, hoping for my first points finish tonight though. We will be looking very intently El Senado. So, a little bit of sad news to bring you guys. We will be starting this evening's session on a slightly somber note. As you may have heard in the past week or so, the motorsports world has lost 3 iconic figures, with the passings of former Formula 1 and British touring cars driver and Le Mans winner Johnny Dumfries, the Queen of the Ring Sabine Schmidt, and of course the legendary Murray Walker. I'm just going to take the time now to just give you a little bit of background information on these guys and the achievements that they have been able to do in their careers. Starting off with Dumfries, the 7th Marquess of Bute, who raced 15 times in Formula 1 for the Lotus team in the 1986 season, partnering the legendary Ayrton Senna, before moving into endurance racing from the years of 1987 to 1991, winning the 1988 24 Hours of Le Mans along the way for the Silk Cut Jaguar team, alongside his teammates Jan Lammers and Andy Wallace in the Jaguar XJR 9LM. Unfortunately passed away yesterday at the age of 62 after a short illness, and will be greatly missed. Sabine Schmitz was a former professional racing driver and TV personality, known for being the only female to ever win the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, winning the race on 2 occasions in 1996 and 1997, earning her nickname of the Queen of the Ring. She also competed in the World Touring Car Championships in both the 2015 and 16 seasons. Schmitz may be known to viewers of Top Gear, where she has appeared on the show multiple times, setting laps around the Nürburgring, challenging Jeremy Clarkson. She did unfortunately pass away last week at the age of 51 following a long battle with cancer. And finally, the legendary Murray Walker, who was arguably the voice of a generation in motorsport commentary, with a career spanning over 50 years across the world of Formula 1, BTCC and motocross. A man who prepared for every race by meticulously researching facts and stats on each driver and track, showing why he has his place as one of the very, very best. An icon, an inspiration to many, and a man who shall never be forgotten. Remembered this evening, Captain Murray Walker, after passing away at the age of 97. As a sign of respect, it has been agreed that all drivers and commentators across IRL will observe a minute's silence at the start of qualifying in memory of Johnny Dumfries, Sabine Schmitz, Murray Walker, and everybody impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic 1 year on from the first national lockdown in the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in this moment of silence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, Dom, as we are now coming into this qualifying session here in America, the drivers have missed that minute due to the minute silence that we have done. Do you think that's going to impact anything in terms of qualifying?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of time in which people are either not on track or, I mean, this is one of the only leagues that I've seen that there's always someone on track. But either usually it's like a really weird gap where people are just either on their out lap or they're on their in lap. So there is usually about a minute lost due to that. So there are going to be a lot more closer battles in qualifying. So I personally reckon there's going to be a lot more sort of faster lap times due to that, because people are going to be pushed beyond their limits. And it's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, like you said, 3 iconic names in motorsports. I didn't really know, or I mean, I didn't know any of them. I knew who they were, but I didn't know as much about some of them as you might have, such as Murray Walker. You've been around a lot longer than I have. You're old enough to have witnessed his legendary voice. But from what I've been told about all 3 drivers, well, I say drivers, 2 drivers and 1 commentator, you know, great personalities, great things, 2 really, really, really good drivers. And like I said, Queen of the Ring, Nürburgring, great, 17-mile track or something like that. And that's an achievement in itself. So yeah, really big loss to motorsport in the past couple of weeks. And like you touched on, it's been a year now since the first lockdown, and stuff like this, you know, leagues like this have picked up a lot of traction due to it. So thank you guys if you have tuned in since the UK went into its national lockdown, and if you've been here before that, thank you very much for sticking around, and we hope that this lockdown has made things a bit easier for you with our league. But yeah, no, I believe no, there are a few drivers currently on their lap. I'm just trying to find who's first.
It is Botch Gerbil. We are currently riding on board with Botch Gerbil in the Williams. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I'm going to assume that's probably just drivers trying to give themselves enough space. So they get stuck in traffic as they're setting laps. Botch Gerbil now just making that turn on turn 11. Is he going to try and potentially get a tow from his Williams teammate XHRC here?
That
on the DRS straight.
That is genius.
XHRC just moves out of the way in time. Genius play there by the Williams team, allowing Botch Gerbil to get that extra speed, get the slipstream from his teammate, who pulls away at the final second to utilise as many tenths of a second as you can out of that lap.
Yeah, I've just messaged him about that. I mean, we've seen it before, drivers towing, but you wouldn't really expect it to happen as much in like an Xbox league. But I mean, that's a 130.3. That's going to be hard to beat without getting a tow.
Indeed. And James F1 ETT comes in 133.8. Stallion comes in with a 130.4. El Senado 132.8 on the mediums.
That's right.
Within a couple of seconds off of Botch Gerbil. That's a very, very fast time. IRL Mats comes and across the line, a 131.498 from IRL Mats. I believe the next driver to cross the line will be Liverpool Ewan. I don't think there's anyone ahead of Liverpool Ewan. Unless Jamie 29X is. In fact, it is Jamie. Jamie looks to have possibly invalidated his lap. I'll let Dom investigate that on the race director. Jump back on board.
Will do.
Liverpool Ewan.
Yeah, Liverpool Ewan just went purple in Sector 2 as well. Hopefully that isn't a timing glitch that we've been having a lot on commentary recently, but if he has, and he's done this without a tow, then imagine what he's going to be like with one.
We'll see now. Liverpool Ewan crosses the line. 130.146. Fastest lap of the session so far to our championship leader, Liverpool Ewan 02. And I believe that's probably going to be XHRC now. Where is he?
So far we've had James F1 ETC have these are invalidated laps. So lap 1, James F1 ETC, Stallion W7, El Senado, Jamie 29X invalidated this and next lap, CJ Allen invalidated his lap, St. Johnston invalidated his lap, Raza got a warning for speeding in the pit lane, Tsani got an invalidated lap, and St. Johnson got an invalidated lap on lap 2.
Riding on board then with DJ Danny, who is just coming through the final few corners now on the medium tyre, interestingly. His teammate Liverpool Ewan are going on the softs. Danny opting for that medium tyre, which is about a second a lap slower, I believe, Dom?
In that region, yeah. If this is I mean, with 16 drivers racing today, if this is a strategic play from them, congratulations. If this is just for track evolution, then that would make sense. But yeah, DJ Danny is really, at this point, Liverpool Ewan O2's only real competition, I'd like to say.
Comes into the pit.
He's the only real person that can push Ewan past that point, and maybe put him under pressure. It would be nice, and I'm not trying to foreshadow or say that it should happen, but it would be nice to see something like the two drivers maybe come together and both have to pit to create something from, you know, just a bit further down to bring them up. But, you know, only time will tell. And I personally believe all season, well, from what we've seen anyway, DJ Danny has put pressure on Liverpool Ewan, but it's not been pressure that Ewan's not incapable of dealing with, but it's not that it's unmanageable for him. You know, he can deal with it, and I personally think it's made him a slightly faster driver.
Indeed, Saney's going to dive into the pits here, so we'll ride on board with El Senado, who is on an outlap. In fact, someone just passing him potentially on a hot lap. Possibly Maitland in the Haas. Let's have a quick look and just see when. Will it be St Johnson? It's not St Johnson. So it's going to be Maitland coming around the final corner here for the Haas team. 1:29.842 puts himself top of the timing screens. What a lap, Dom!
Yeah, you can see where some people have been putting the practice in. See what Raza can do here, and then we'll talk about Maitland's lap. And Raza goes
1:30.1.
Yeah, these are really close times. Breaking that 1:30 into the 1:29 barrier, that's an accomplishment. So yeah, very fast lap. Must have kept it clean the whole way through. I will just double check to see sector times. On that pass.
So it looks like we've got both Red Bull drivers about to start hot laps now. Jamie 29X just slightly ahead of his teammate there.
Also,
both on the main straight. We have yellow flags in sector 1. Possibly just slow-moving drivers.
Yeah, it's Raza just keeping out of the way. I'm on board with them at the moment, also just checking through Discord. To be fair, very much expected. Drive for both sessions. It's in Austin, Texas. It's hot. It's never really gonna rain, so yeah, as expected, drive both sessions. So it's just gonna be flat out clean racing until the end.
Indeed, indeed. Sir Sharks 1:30.9. He goes across the line, moves himself up into 6th position. And I believe that's possibly Saney about to start a lap. No, Saney's a lot further on track than I thought he was.
Jamie 29X just went purple in sector 2. There are slow moving cars, so it's going to be interesting to see as to whether or not he has to fight with them.
Indeed, indeed.
But if he could get the toe, because he is getting close enough.
We are riding on board with Jamie 29X now as he comes around the final corner here in Austin. Just under 7 minutes left of this session. Jamie 29X puts himself 6th with a 1:38.01. Very, very strong lap time there, and we'll have a quick look and see what Max has done. Max is just starting another lap now. Let's have a quick look to see. It looks like it's going to be the battle of the Renaults, who is slightly further ahead. I think it's going to be DJ Danny on an outlap. It is. Liverpool Ewan, I think, maybe ever so slightly slowing down just to ensure that he doesn't get into any traffic with his teammate as the lap progresses. Danny now moving onto those soft tyres, so expect Danny to fly up the timing screens here, guys. We have lots and lots of yellow flags here. In fact, that's a very, very slow-moving Liverpool Ewan. So Ewan's really, really trying to make sure that he's got more than enough space. Giving himself a good 3 or 4 turns buffer between himself and his teammate there. St Johnston puts himself in P11, 132.435 in that Haas. We'll just see where CJ Allen is at the moment. Coming around the final few corners here on a hot lap.
Yeah, I've just compared his 2 sectors. He's about 2 tenths, 3 tenths down on Maitland, so he might put himself up in the top 5 here.
CJ Allen crosses the line. 1:30.099 for P3 for CJ Allen in the Seoul Alpha Tauri this evening. Very, very good drive here. And possibly a lot of pressure on CJ Allen to try and make sure that he can stay in touch with that Renault team in terms of the constructors, especially with his teammate not driving tonight, Dom.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to keep his team in the constructors here. I have done a lot of research into, well, me and you have done a lot of sort of calculations into it, and it just seems to be that, you know, we said if Farfu misses a race or CJ Allen misses a race, it could be over. And I personally believe it will be.
Indeed, Liverpool Ewan, our current championship leader, in one of those Renaults, about to cross the line now. Crosses the TRS zone, crosses the line, 1:29.896. Puts himself second, 0.05 of a second off CSR Maitland.
I just want to cross-reference with you. You said 896. Can you remind me what pole is? Because I've got a 1:29.842. And my
842, yes.
Okay, so Ewan's apparently 1,000th faster on my screen.
Yes, it has just ticked over to an 895 on the lead screen as well.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yellow.
Oh,
yellow flag on the final corner here.
St Johnston has binned it into the pit lane.
Oh, that's not what you want. That is not what you want to see.
Now I'd just like to
remind,
I would just like to remind drivers, well, fans, sorry, that had that have happened in real life, the session would have been red flagged immediately due to the danger of having a smashed up car on pit entry, and the drivers would have been told to wait on the main straight until further instructions.
Indeed, they would have. Let's have a quick look.
Weird facts you probably didn't know, but you do now.
The more you know. Is that Danny coming into the pits? That is Danny coming into the pits. So we'll ride on board with Box Gerbil has also come into the pits. XAHC is in the pits. So this is where you're going to start seeing those drivers now starting to come out for those last few laps. Where's Raza at the moment? Raza is on a hot lap. He's just coming through turn 2 now. So we will ride on board with Raza. Unless Dom can find me a driver that is slightly further up the grid.
No, it looks like Raza is
slightly ahead on track.
Raza is the driver to be watching here. Yeah, it looks like Raza's
2.5 minutes left in this session. Yep, 2.5 minutes left in this session. So if the drivers want to get out for a final hot lap, they need to think about leaving the pits now. CSR Maitland, Liverpool Ewan, CJ Allen, DJ Danny and Saney still all in the pits. Raza looks to have disregarded that lap, possibly invalidated.
Yeah, he's invalidated. I thought I saw someone who was on an invalidated lap. I just couldn't quite put my finger on who it was. Which would mean Jamie 29X, the closest driver. Oh no, he was the closest driver, but he binned his lap as well, so any driver after that now, I believe, is on a hot lap.
Let's have a quick look at Mats then, who's just crossed the line. 1:31.182 for Mats. Moves him to 11th position. And we got the McLaren of El Senado potentially getting ready to cross the line.
Yeah. Also, I would like
Start a hot lap.
I would like to point out that if Liverpool Ewan wants to put one extra number onto his current 3 in a row pole positions, he really has to push this lap. And yes, like I said, he has made 3 pole positions in a row, and on top of that, he is currently tied for the most IRL Xbox wins in a season with 4. Win today could break the record currently held by Fairmoto, who had 4 wins in a row in a season, sorry, in F2, and his teammate DJ Danny, who done it in F1 in season 10.
Indeed, indeed. We are riding on board with El Senado coming down the main straight now between turns 11 and 12 here. 20 seconds left in the session now, so if you're not out on a hot lap and getting very, very close to that start-finish line, you're probably not going to be able to set a lap in time. Of course, you need to be able to cross that finish line before the flag drops to have your lap, or to allow your next lap to be counted.
And Liverpool Ewan doesn't have it in him.
Oh, Liverpool Ewan just before the line.
Unlucky, my friend. Also, guys, if you see any drivers with a black helmet whilst riding on board today, it is a sign of respect in a lot of sort of Xbox, F1 leagues around the world, of respect to those who have passed away recently. So that is another way that some of these drivers are showing their respect. In their own little way.
Indeed, indeed.
Because I know Jamie29X is one of them.
Let's quickly just fly down to XHRC. It's coming through the fast, sweeping right-handers up towards the end of the lap here. Now taking the double left to end the lap here. XHRC currently in 16th position. What is he going to do? Is he crosses the line? A 1:31.110 moves him into P7.
Did you have another timing glitch and it said 111?
It said 111 top right hand corner. Yes, but on the actual timing screen it did say 110. Botched Gerbil is in the pits. Is that going to be Danny?
IRL Mats is not on the lap anymore.
IRL Danny moves himself up to P3, 129.887. And we missed Raza across the line, Dom. A 129.844 moves Raza up into second.
Congratulations, man. Maitland's on a slow lap. I don't know quite what these guys are doing at this point.
Mats has retired from the session.
So we are
what
just
you see now, guys,
Maitland.
Yes, you will start seeing drivers now retire from the session. It'll be drivers that maybe didn't like the lap they were on, that may have been on a hot lap, realised they weren't going to improve, so have just retired there and then. So what we will do, we will ride on board with our pole sitter. Where is Mr. Pole Sitter? CSR Maitland, there he is, just popping himself into the pits now, as we come towards the end of today's qualifying session here at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. CSR Maitland will be your pole sitter for today's race. So you see the standings there, guys. CSR Maitland in P1, 0.02 of a second faster than Raza. DJ Danny P3 and Liverpool Ewan on the second row of the grid. There are all of your 16 runners there, ladies and gentlemen. 0.02 of a second, Dom, separating the top two.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of records in Xbox, in the F1 Xbox League for IRL this year, and they're not real life records, but they're the IRL records, and I believe that record tops most of the records 0.02 of a second between pole position and second.
Yeah, I don't think we've had one closer.
I don't think any IRL league has had one closer. But I will leave it to you to do the shameless plugging of the rest of IRL.
Indeed, thank you very much, Dom. If you guys are enjoying what you're watching with the Invictus Racing League, we do stream all of our leagues now. That I can tell you now. All leagues in IRL are now being streamed either here on Twitch or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/InvictusRL. Monday nights, 8 PM. It is Gareth and Sab, the main guys themselves, in the PlayStation F1 League. On a Tuesday, you've got myself and Dom here on Twitch, as well as Malc and Craig on YouTube for the PlayStation F2 League. On a Wednesday night, you have got a double helping of races on YouTube. You have Hoppers and Wojciech on the F3, and Andriy and a co-commentator, hopefully to be announced very, very soon, for F4. As well as, in fact, it's 4 helpings on a Wednesday, because you've got both PC leagues as well, F1 and F2. The F1 streamed by JCol and Dan on the YouTube channel, and Geek and It's Fozzie will be making their debuts tomorrow evening for the F2. And on a Thursday, it is our realistic performance leagues in IRL. On YouTube, it is the PlayStation being streamed by Tim and Malc, and on the Xbox, it is Andrew, Mr. Papa Goose himself, along with a brand new co-commentator by the name of Matt. So really, really looking forward to seeing what those guys can do. Matt, if you are watching, welcome to IRL from both myself and Dom. We hope you do well. We are both sure you are going to smash it. So I will quickly run through the socials, guys, for those who want to get involved. The YouTube channel, as I said, is youtube.com/InvictusRL. If you want to give us a little follow on Twitter, it is InvictusRL. Instagram, @InvictusRacingLeague. And of course, the main site itself, the main IRL website, InvictusRacingLeague.com, for all of your IRL needs.
So just to take over there, so you can breathe, because I know what it's like for you. I have had confirmation that the top 4, the gap between P1 and P4, and the gaps in between is the closest IRL has ever had. And Fairmoto believes that 0.002 of a second is the closest gap we've ever had from pole to second place ever in IRL. He said it is hard to get, it almost impossible to get closer than that, unless you basically cross the line at the same time. So congratulations both drivers, all 4 drivers actually, you now all hold a record.
Indeed.
So yeah, good luck on trying to beat that anyone in the future. It looks like we're all about to ready up. I'm not confirming that until it all happens. Yeah, there you go. Ready up,
yeah,
start.
Jamie29X has readied up, so the other drivers will now get ready. The green apple has been dropped in the Discord, which is the sign to all drivers that they are able to ready up for the race here in Austin. As always, welcome to anyone that is jumping in and watching the stream this evening. This is Season 12, Round 7 action from the US Grand Prix. My name is Keiran 92 alongside Dom the Noodle. This is the Invictus Racing League. CSR Maitland is on pole in the Haas Raza, just behind him in the Racing Point. Our constructors, leaders, DJ Danny and Liverpool Ewan in the Renault team on the second row of the grid. And I will let Dom do a little bit of talking whilst I get everything ready on the spectator menu.
Yes, so weird facts about the track. If you were to put an F1 rear tyre at the end of the main straight and let go of it, it would roll at about 50 miles an hour down towards the final turn, and would actually start to hit the pit wall at about halfway. So that is how they decided as to where the sort of main start-finish line would be. Yeah, that's how they decided where that was going to be. The Ferris wheel in the middle of the track is active on race days. You do pay quite a bit of money to get up there, and you do rotate so that you can have lots of different angles of the race as you go. Also, big one-stop strategy here. It does require using the hard tire, which, as you guys have seen, the medium compound is slow, so the hard is even slower. So those on a two-stop strategy, whilst they will be losing that 18.6 seconds in the pit lane twice, they will be on 2 sets of softs and a set of mediums. So it'll be interesting to see what these boys are going to do. I think I'll see it about 3 or 4 two-stops, providing we have no wing damage. But the rest, I reckon, will be one-stops.
Indeed, indeed. As you can see now, guys, on screen, the leaders are now getting ready to go back into their pit boxes for us to get these 5 lights underway. And I think it's only fair and it's only fitting that I start this race with my own tribute to the legendary Murray Walker. So I will be using Murray Walker's world famous catchphrase as we start this race. We're just waiting for the 5 red lights. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go here in Austin, Texas. It's a very, very slow start there for Maitland. Is DJ Danny and Liverpool Union going to be able to get a move? Bots gerbil around the outside of turn 1. Very, very strong move there. DJ Danny pushes himself up with side by side with Maitland going through the S-bends here. Very much reminiscent of Magus and Beckett's at Silverstone. We've had Stallion drop quite significantly down the field, Dom.
Yeah, 9 places.
Just quickly jump back and investigate that.
9 places. I can't see damage. I think he's just had an awkward start and he's just struggled to find traction. Saney is down 2 places as well. Liverpool Ewan is down 4. But I'm trying to find damage. Yeah, Saney's got damage, so that's going to be an early stop. So he's now going to go on to a 2-stop strategy. But no, I can't see damage anywhere else. Oh, never mind. St. Johnson has damage. I don't know if Mats doesn't have any. Nathan doesn't have any. James doesn't have any. So yeah, it is really the guys at the back that have got the damage. Everyone out the front seems to have been clean getaway. So yeah, Raz is up a place. That was something that happened off the line as well. Unfortunately, Maitland just had a really bad start. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think potentially got caught up in the gears, maybe bogged down a little bit as he was going through the first run up to turn 1. I will say, guys, just ignore the timing screens for just a moment. It is a little bug that the F1 game has for some reason.
Even though they updated it recently to fix that issue.
Yes, indeed. Gotta love Codemasters.
Yeah.
I think we should now pretty much be back up to where it should be once St. Johnston drops back down to where he should be.
Yeah, once he passes that first time line, that's when we should get an update. However, 0.333 of a second from Raza to St. Johnston apparently, and again from Raza to Maitland, so that's impressive.
There we go. We have got everything back to normal now. Raza is your current race leader as St. Johnston picks up a 3-second time penalty there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of those. Also, this turn that Raza's in now, I can't quite remember the number of the turn. It skipped my head real quick, but if any of the drivers do sort of spin in that corner, and it does happen a lot, it happened to me recently, and say for instance you spin and you put just a bit too much power down, it will disqualify you for going the wrong way, so there is going to be a lot of caution going into that turn. Also guys, I'm not going to acknowledge any of the fastest laps for the first 5, well for the first 4 really, because they're really just people getting up to speed with the track with other drivers around them. So yeah, it's nothing against the drivers that are posting the fastest laps, but it's not where you'll see the fastest lap posted.
No, this is, as Dom said, this is just the start of the race, so drivers are just trying to get into their groove, so you will see that fastest lap change quite a bit. I just noticed that Jamie29X has also obtained a penalty. I believe that's going to be a 3 second. It is a 3 second time penalty for Jamie29X in the Red Bull. We are riding on board with James F1 ETC, the man who finished second the last time we raced 2 weeks ago in Austria. Currently on those medium tyres, chasing down our current championship leader in Liverpool Ewing. He has got that DRS open, but unfortunately for James, he is stuck in the middle of a DRS train. What we mean by a DRS train, for those who may be relatively new to Formula 1, a DRS train is when you have a number of drivers within a second of each other, so they're all gaining DRS off of each other, meaning no one really gains an advantage.
Yeah, the DRS system, I believe it was implemented in the late 2000s. So yeah, the late millennium decade, and I will have to just fact check myself that one in fact check myself on that one in a moment. But yeah, it's basically just where sort of the rear wing is built into two different spots. If Keiran, say you could just get on board with someone when it happens, that would be great.
Not a problem.
What happens is...
We are currently riding on board with Danny, so we should be able to get one when we get around to turn 11.
Sweet. What happens is the bottom half of the rear wing will drop, so it's no longer pushing air over what's known as a spoiler, or the rear wing, meaning that it goes straight through the rear wing and causes a lot less drag, which is what holds the car back from full speed. And you can gain about 6, 7, 8 miles an hour depending on the track.
So if we ride on board with Dan, you can see his DRS is open. If you look at that Renault rear wing from the rear view that we currently have, you can see the gap. As we get to the end of the straight, you'll see the gap. The flap then closes. That means that the rear wing is now closed once again. So Dom, could you just give the guys who are potentially watching, who might not have seen that before, a full understanding as to how much speed that gains, as Raza under pressure from Maitland here, getting very, very close to each other here. Around turn 15 on the high speed triple right hander, 16, 17 and 18. Raza does maintain that lead though.
Yeah, Sharks is going for it on Jamie29X, and Liverpool Ewan the same. Undercuts
Allen has
crazy
made that move on XHRC.
Sharks has also made that move on Jamie29X. Congratulations, my buddy. And you've got DRS on
Gonna
him.
come under pressure. Has XHRC, he's gone very, very deep there.
Oh,
tried to go as late as he could, and he's just overrun into turn 1, unfortunately.
yeah, I think no one's got wing damage from that. James F1 hit the back end of Jamie29X just trying to come into turn 1, just a bit too late. It wasn't much for much of a bump. I mean, both cars managed to stay in a straight line, but it's what we like to call a little love tap. But yeah, referring back to your statement about DRS, well, your question about DRS, like I said, it can gain about some tracks anywhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour, which is the speed limit in most countries for what's known as a car park or a parking lot. So yeah, it doesn't seem like much, but 210 miles an hour is a lot faster than 205 or 200. So yeah, it can be a lot. It's also a way to save fuel as well.
Ooh, sorry, I'm just going to quickly cut in front of you here. We've got a little bit of a battle going on between Jamie29X and James F1 ETC. Jamie29X got very, very close to the rear end of James then. It looks like James is able to just hold on as we see Liverpool Ewing dart into the pits. Lap 6, and our championship leader has jumped into the pits.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's for damage.
Dom?
It doesn't look like it's for damage. It's not for damage. He is putting a fresh set of softs on. He is on a 2-stop strategy. But I was about to ask you a question on him. I don't know what's going on, but he seems slow tonight. Like, no offense, but he just seems off pace.
It's definitely not the Liverpool Ewan we're used to seeing, let's put it that way. It's not the dominant I am able to very much dominate a race from lap 1 to the end. Potentially maybe hasn't driven much in that week off.
Yeah, or maybe given
just
his
trying to get back in the groove.
or maybe even given his wheel to his sibling for the day. I don't know. He seems very much off the pace. And by the way, that is completely a joke. I genuinely don't think he would break the rules in that way. It's a running joke alongside gamers that, you know, if you're losing, you tend to give your controller or your wheel to your sibling who is usually older than you and better than you in every way. But no, I don't think he has. I don't think he would. I don't think he would like to break the rules that way. But no, he just seems off. He's locking up a lot more than usual. He's wider into the turns. Something doesn't seem right.
Indeed, indeed. We are riding on board with Raza, who is chasing down Liverpool Ewan's teammate, DJ Danny. Maitland is currently leading the race once again, our pole sitter. Trying to see if he can pull out a bit more of a gap. Currently holds a 1.1 second lead over Danny, so at the moment Danny not in DRS range. But Raza, more importantly, is in DRS range of Danny. Which could mean Danny could be under a little bit of pressure here, coming down the straight from turns 11 down to 12.
Possibly, and something I mean, I said there wasn't much to talk about when it comes to this track, and there really isn't. But the fact that this is very much designed with other tracks in mind, there's the quote-unquote Maggots and Beckett style first sector.
What a move. Sorry, Dom. What a move from Botch Gerbil. On the DRS, with Raza also having DRS on Danny. Botch Gerbil just flies past Raza as if he's not even there to take that third place in that Williams. Fantastic move from Botch Gerbil.
Yeah, that really was. And that's the effect that ERS can get. DRS. What is ERS?
ERS is your overtake mode.
Electronic
recovery system.
That's the one. Why did I think
is?
reduction? Why did I think reduction?
I have no idea why you thought reduction,
Yeah,
but most importantly,
Yeah.
DJ Danny has popped into the pits.
Maybe
Putting on a fresh set of mediums.
that's. Fair Moto, if you're in chat, have you paid these Renault drivers to just throw a race or something? Have you asked for them to just bring the standings closer together?
I'm sure that's not the case. Again, that is another attempted joke by Dom to our Xbox League coordinator, the wonderful Fairmotor, who you will see on Thursday night in the Realistic Performance League when Andrew and
Oh, that's
Matt
a great
take
onboard.
to the microphones. We're riding on board with CJ Allen here, trying to see if he can get a move on Raza into the braking zone of turn 12. Not close enough, but Raza very, very close to that rear wing of Botch Gerbil, looking to try and get that third place back as we move up through Sector 3 here on lap 8 here in Austin, Texas. And what was the move that you saw, Dom?
Oh, it was less of a move, and more of just the onboard. I was on board with, well, I wasn't on board with Botch Gerbil, I was on the broadcast mode. But you know the rear wing has a camera in it? Well, I was on board that
Indeed.
camera, and it was just off-centered to the left slightly. And it was like, you could see the left side of the car and just some of the right side, and it was beautiful. It really made that Williams look like it was going to sting. And if he can push a bit harder and maybe get that undercut, which is big here, I think that Williams is going to sting the championship a little bit. The full Young goes fastest with a 134 exactly. 134.000.
Very, very fast lap there by you, and I think you're going to start seeing the real Liverpool Ewan start to come out now. I think he's potentially found his groove. He's just behind his teammate in P11, so you could potentially see the two Renault drivers working together here. We are still on board with Raza, with XHRC very, very close behind him though, with that DRS open. I don't think he's going to be close enough to get anywhere near Raza. Saying that, he gets very close to him under braking. Is he going to look to make a move into turn 12? Locks up under braking. Does not make the move though. But it's very, very close moving up through turns 13, 14 and 15. CJ Allen, the most important thing to pay attention to on the left-hand side of the screen with the tyres, guys, is that CJ Allen is on the hard tyre, which means that CJ Allen will now no longer need to stop. That is CJ Allen done for the remainder of the race. So just keep an eye on that AlphaTauri. He is the sole AlphaTauri this evening. So maybe just keep an eye on him and just see what he's able to do. As XHRC follows Raza into the pits. Both drivers have followed each other into the pits. Sir Sharks is also in the pits. Nathan HRX stays out on track. I would assume that both Raza and XHRC are going onto hard. No. They've both gone onto the medium tyre, Dom.
It's a stretch. It's doable, but it's a stretch. They might go bang on the last corner. Like I said, it's Texas, it's hot. So it's going to be interesting to see what their plan is here. It might be a soft, medium, soft type of race. Because, so it's weird, because a lot of people like to do the soft, medium, soft strategy. And I personally don't think it works, and this is why. Because obviously the track heats up over time, and the softs don't really work well under temperatures. So, with the medium compound being better under hotter, sort of, on a hotter track, you know, it's one of those things where, obviously, if it's doing better, then, it's better to have it on whilst the track's at its hottest point for that extra bit of time. Yeah, you'll lose a lap's worth on them, so you do have to stretch your soft out for a lap or two. But, you know, I actually believe it's the faster tyre to finish on. So if these guys are doing a soft, medium, soft strategy, fair enough. If you're doing a soft to medium strategy, I really hope it works for you.
CSR Maitland, previous race leader, has popped into the pits to chuck on a set of medium tyres. 10 laps on. We're riding on board with Liverpool Ewan, who is looking to make a move here on IRL mats down the main straight. He's going to make that look very, very easy. And is he going to get out in front of Maitland? He's not. Maitland still able to maintain that lead. Potentially dangerously for Maitland, separating those two Renaults. DJ Danny currently up in P4, Liverpool Ewan in P6. But most importantly, Ewan does have to stop again, because there is no way you're going to be able to do 17 laps on those softs. Secondly, to the fact that I believe Danny started, Liverpool Ewan, started on the softs as well.
Yeah, he does need to take another compound. He does need to take another compound, so it'll probably be the medium tyre later on in the race.
Indeed, riding on board here with Liverpool Ewan on the broadcast camera this time, as he looks to try and see if he can get close to that Haas of CSR Maitland. He isn't able to get close enough to make a move though. What we will very briefly do is have a little bit of a look further down. A quick look at CJ Allen in the AlphaTauri. Under a little bit of pressure from XHRC here in the Williams.
Yeah,
both drivers.
I'm very much on board with XHRC at the moment, and he is putting a lot of pressure to the point where CJ Allen has locked up in the 4 major turns where lockups are prone if pressure is on.
Indeed, we will just watch this battle as the drivers are coming down the main straight here. Very, very tight driving here. As you see Raza make a move on El Senado, CJ Allen looking to do something similar. Getting very, very close to the braking zone here. I don't know why the game has decided to switch back to Liverpool Ewan then. Very, very strange.
I
want to go for a rear view camera.
El Senado has lost
and there is some,
not a front wing, but a front end plate.
Front wing end plate off that McLaren. El Senado is going to be much, much slower now. CJ Allen gets himself a time penalty. Have a quick look at the penalties. Liverpool Ewan, Raza, XHRC, Botch, Gerbil and Stallion, all with 3 seconds worth of penalties. Elsinado and Iron Mats with 6. CJ Allen and St Johnston with 9. And Jamie29X with 12 seconds worth of penalties. As we see Raza move up past CJ Allen now into P6, but he's going to come back under pressure from that Williams driver. Is XHRC going to, sorry, that AlphaTauri driver, my mistake. Is he going to look to try and make a move on the final straight here? This is a very, very ding-dong battle here for, technically for 6th place. Liverpool Union is a little bit clearer of the others, as Raza makes the final turn, followed by CJ Allen, followed by XHRC, followed by Botched, Gerbil. Don't think there's going to be any moves done. Potentially one from Botched, Gerbil at the back of this little pack.
There have been more lockups in this race than there are in max security prison in America. Are they trying to replicate it?
Wow, Dom, that was very, very bad. Even by your standards of jokes, that was very, very bad.
Mate, I've been thinking of that one for the past minute and a half. Can you please leave me alone? 3-second time penalty for Jamie29X there for potentially just I say potentially, it was for exceeding track limits. So Stallion,
whoa, we've had a spin from CJ Allen. I don't think there's any damage. I think he was able to keep that out of the wall. Of course, yeah, he's now going to drop CJ Allen down to P10, and more importantly, away from the battle with Raza.
Yes, and Botched Gerbil done the move on XHRC as well, so it's now the faster of the two Williams drivers going for Raza. CJ Allen didn't pick up damage, so he's all clear there. Just a bit of a spin, so a bit of rear tyre heat up. Not much to be too concerned about. His position he'll be very much concerned about, so he'll be looking for that back. But he might just wait for all the other drivers because he's within that that timing period where he could gain it all back due to, you know, the 19-second pit stop.
Indeed, indeed. DJ Danny looking to make the move on Nathan HRX. Makes it stick around that Alfa Romeo driver. Moves himself up into P2. CSR Maitland now hunting down Nathan HRX through the S-bends here. The Maggots and Beckett style corners. He does get himself a 3-second time penalty though for exceeding track limits. Very, very wide run there by Nathan HRX. Oh, and Nathan spins. Nathan does spin. CSR Maitland was passed at the point though. I don't think there's going to be anything from that. Nathan HRX moves himself down to P8 now after recovering from that spin. DJ Danny potentially... yeah, he's... CSR Maitland has got DRS on Danny, but not close enough to make anything stick. Let's have a quick look at Nathan HRX. Just want to see... I can't see any damage to that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, it's probably just going to go down as hard racing. It happens. He's also on 13 lap old mediums. 14 laps, really, you can push to, but I mean, at that point, you're looking at a dead set of mediums.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan HRX does end up coming into the pits this lap to change onto another set of tyres. I'd be surprised if it's the soft, so I'm going to assume that if he was going to change, it would be onto that set of hards. As Liverpool Ewan drops into the pits on lap 14 here, moving on to lap 15. He is going to put those medium tyres on, so that is now Liverpool Ewan done to the end of the race. Let's just find Liverpool Ewans on board. Coming out of the pits in P12 behind the McLaren of Sir Sharks. As Nathan HRX picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits in P9. We're going to go slightly further up to this battle of the Williamses. XHRC versus Botched Gerbil. As he takes a turn on turn 11 here on lap 15 here in Austin at the US Grand Prix. This is season 12 round 7 action from the Invictus Racing League. My name is Keiran Right 92. I am joined, as always, on a Tuesday evening by Dom the Noodle. And if you guys are liking what you're seeing, please consider going over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/InvictusRL, where all races under the Invictus banner are posted. Everything from our PlayStation leagues, as XHRC gets very, very close to Raza, loses the back end there out of the exit of turn 15. I think he is fine though, I can't see any damage. Botch Gerbil up into P4 after making that move on Raza. Is Botch Gerbil going to be able to pull away from that racing point? And more importantly, his teammate will ride on board with XHRC as he gets very, very close to the rear wing of Raza. Is he going to be able to make a move into turn 1? Moves to the left hand side, tries to cut the corner, and there is contact between XHRC and Raza. Raza looks to have come out the better of the two. Raza is still able to ride up through those S-bends. XHRC now done with a lot of work to do to get back up to the rear wing of Raza.
Yeah, they both have penalties, so it's not going to really come down to penalties. Also, they're on the same wage tyres, so they're often going to be coming in at the same time if they're going to come in together. And talking about tyres, James F1 ETC, Alcinado, and Nathan HRX all on 15 lap balls as Jamie 29X spins in sector 2 out of turn 11 and hits the wall on the inside and doesn't appear to have damaged the car. I correct myself, he has very much destroyed the front right side of that front wing. Unlucky, my dude. So yeah, 15 lap holds. I mean, I was on board with one of the drivers, Alcinado, who's on those 15 lap holds. And I've also been checking the timing boards, because whilst they're not always reliably accurate, there you go. They're coming in, they'll be coming in this lap. But they are down to the cord on those tyres. So, and Nathan HRX is staying out for another lap.
Could this potentially be Nathan HRX trying to push these medium tyres for as long as he can to then put on the soft tyres so he's on the fastest tyre for the end of the race?
Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense because he's going to lose so much time. I mean, as I was saying, the timing boards, whilst they're not always reliably accurate, they are usually pretty decent for their timings, and it looked like James F1 had lost a lot of time to DJ Danny because he was stretching those tyres. So, yeah, and congratulations to both. I'm going to say, but I'm not quite. Never mind. Congratulations to DJ Danny, who, if he keeps it in P1 now, or I mean anywhere in the top 5, he could win the race from there, based purely upon the fact that he's the only driver that doesn't have a penalty.
I will say though, DJ Danny is looking to come under a little bit of pressure now from CSR Maitland, getting very, very close as we're going through that sweeping right-hander towards the end of the lap into the double left to finish lap 17. Moving on to lap 18 here in Austin. I will also say, Dom, that XHRC has put a set of soft tyres on following that little spin, following the incident with Raza. Is Maitland going to make a move around the outside of turn 1 on Danny? He's not close enough. Danny is going to still be able to maintain that lead as they're going up through the S-bends here at the start of this lap 18 here at the US Grand Prix. Maitland are getting very, very close. The gap between the two drivers just over 0.2 of a second now, as XHRC picks up another 3-second time penalty. As Dom did say, DJ Danny, the only driver without penalties. You can quickly see the penalties there on screen, guys. Nathan HRX has now come into the pits, and he has, as I thought, put a set of soft tyres on, Dom.
Yeah, they've got...
Just quickly watching XHRC on this straight. Is he going to try and make a move on Danny? We'll just see this possible move particular. Is he going to make the move? He is not. Is he going to get him on the switchback, though? Coming into the double right-hander. They are so very close. These two drivers are side by side here. This is fantastic battling here between DJ Danny and CSR Maitland, again getting very, very close to each other. XHRC has left the session. Dom, you may need to potentially invite XHRC back into the lobby if needs be. We are still riding on board here with CSR Maitland as he battles through with DJ Danny at the end of lap 18 here in Austin, Texas. Is Maitland now going to be able to make that move on Danny? He is close enough to the back of that Renault. Is he going to be able to move into turn 1? Danny moves to the left. Maitland stays on his current line. Is he going to get round Danny? Danny trying to get the apex of the corner. Does get the apex corner, but CSR Maitland with a much better exit takes the lead here on lap 19 here at the US Grand Prix. Our pole sitter, CSR Maitland, regaining the lead from the Renault of DJ Danny, Dom.
Yeah, the tyres are going to be a massive factor in that as well. 7 on 10, very, very close. I don't think these boys are going to stretch it, so I could see these boys coming quite quickly. I'm not going to go on about what's going on in the Discord right about now. Just for the safety of the chat. However, I do believe it will be looked into. But yeah, I'd also like to point out that if these boys are coming in for softs, which they probably will have to, because stretching that for another 7 laps is going to be almost impossible for DJ Danny. If these boys are going to come in for softs, those softs are working wonders. James has caught CJ Allen very quickly on those softs, so if it's doable, and yeah, he's on the hards, but he's also catching Raza, who is, you know, yeah, there you go.
DJ Danny in the pits, Dom. DJ Danny is in the pits. CSR Maitland is going to maintain the lead here, but as Dom says, we're going to assume DJ Danny is going to chuck on a set of soft tyres, and it's exactly what he's done. This now means that DJ Danny arguably could be the fastest man on this track. Moving down to P6, is his teammate going to get out in front of him? Just going to have a quick look. He has. Liverpool Human is ahead of DJ Danny. So could this potentially play, as we've got yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3?
I will check that out. It is a slow-moving St. Johnson. Just looks like he spun and he's just trying to regain control. No damage. Nothing else to report from that one.
Not a problem at all. We're going to quickly jump up to CJ Allen, who is getting relatively close to the rear end of James F1, who did make a move on CJ Allen whilst we were very quickly jumping down just to see what the issue was with those yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. CJ Allen not close enough to get a move on James. CSR Maitland is your current race leader, 4.2 seconds ahead of Boss Gerbil, with the racing point of Raza 410 in third. James F1 ETC, just the car ahead of our car on screen, which is CJ Allen in P5. Current championship leader Liverpool UN02 is in P6 with his teammate DJ Danny in 7th place. Anything to report further down on the grid, Dom?
Not much. Fresh softs runners are catching the cars ahead of them, obviously, because they are either on older sets of softs or on slower tyre compounds. The tyres are probably going to be burning by the end of this race, which will be interesting to see, but yellow flag in sector 2, I will check that one out too.
A very interesting move we've just seen on stream. DJ Danny getting very close to the rear end of his teammate Liverpool Ewan, who purposely ran just that little bit wider into turn 1. Basically said, yep, you're fine Danny, you're on the faster tyre. You do what you need to do, my friend. Especially because those cars ahead of you have those penalties. And that is the most important thing that you need to remember, ladies and gents. DJ Danny is the only person currently on track without time penalties. So this would mean that if I do it to leader, DJ Danny would at present only increase his position by 1. So he would only finish P5 at present if the penalties stay how they are. So DJ Danny definitely looking to try and see if he can move himself up this grid as quickly as he possibly can, with 7 laps to go here as Maitland crosses the line to start lap 22 here at the US Grand Prix, live with the Invictus Racing League in Season 12. Is Danny close enough to be able to potentially make a move on CJ Allen? I very, very highly doubt it. I think this is probably more just going to be the case of DJ Danny trying to get close enough to CJ Allen to make a move stick, another made potentially on the DRS straight of turn 11 to 12, Dom.
Yeah, also, talking about penalties, to follow on here real quick, Jimmy29X is walking the tightest tightrope I've ever seen. 27 seconds with the time penalties is not a good look for anyone. That's going to be hard to come back from, and he's probably just going to call it his race there. However, he has caught Saini, who is on a much older tyre than Jamie is. And I've got that from aerial footage too, and that was beautiful.
Alongside CJ Allen makes that move stick into turn 12. Sorry, Dom. Is CJ Allen going to make the move back on DJ Danny? He is not. But you would have seen it on the stream, guys. As Liverpool Ewan turned into turn 11, he did lose that back end a little bit. Could the championship leader, with 6-lap-old medium tyres, be struggling for grip, Dom?
Possibly. I mean, maybe not, but there's a chance that he... I mean, we took a week off. No one likes having a week off at all. It means that you sort of lose your way. Jamie 29X
Sorry,
has
Dom, just
officially
going to
been
quickly jump
disqualified.
in. Yes, Jamie did unfortunately pick up his 10th 3-second time penalty, which in the world of F1 unfortunately does mean you do get disqualified by the game for amassing too many penalties. So fortunately, it's not the best race for Jamie. I really do feel for Jamie. He's not had the best of runs so far since we've started doing broadcasts on here on Twitch. But I'm sure over time that podium, that good race, that points finish will come sooner than Jamie realizes.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I thought it was going to take me a long time to get a podium after coming back to sim racing. And it only took me, what, 5 races? 4 or 5 races? So yeah,
very, very close battle there between St Johnston and IRL Mats coming through the exit of turn number 1. We will ride on board with Mats, who is chasing down this horse of St Johnston. IRL Mats obviously just seeing his teammate unfortunately leaving the session. Not having the best of races. They were very, very close to each other though. St Johnston made the move on that main straight, and on exit IRL Mats got very, very close to that rear end, purely because I think St Johnston just struggled to get traction back into those tyres. Most importantly now though, IRL Mats is going to have DRS on St Johnston. Is he going to be able to get this Red Bull close enough? He is on the slower tyre though. He's on those hard tyres. Is he going to go for a dive bomb into turn 12? He's not. Slight lock up on the left hand side though. St Johnston with a little slide on those mediums. But it looks to have recovered pretty well. We're going to quickly just jump. I want to watch the rest of this battle just in case IRL Mats does make a move. Dom, if I can get you to have a quick look at the top of the head of the race, just to see if we've got any battles going on there that could be worth popping onto the stream.
Yeah, it's
IRL Mats takes the final turn, locked up again. Is he going to get close enough to St Johnston? I don't think he is. St Johnston going to look to pull away now though on those medium tyres. Dom.
Yeah, it's turned into a bit of a DRS train, of sort. If the race stays as is and they stay as close as is, DJ Danny's taking 3rd, so we are going to be interviewing one of the Renault drivers today, due to Raza having a 9-second penalty.
Just watching St Johnstone go very, very wide here. He's left himself very open to the overtake from IRL Max. Now Max is going to look to try and see if he can make that move on St Johnstone. Is he going to do it into braking zone of turn 11? He's not. He's going to be intelligent. He's going to use his head, purposely stay behind St Johnstone to ensure that he gets that DRS down the back straight here between turns 11 and 12. This is your battle for 11th place. IRL Max. St Johnstone moves to the left. IRL Max stays to the right. Is St Johnstone going to try and stick his car on the apex of the corner? He is. IRL Max going to try and come in on the switchback. Is unable to get a move done to date. But St Johnstone in that half moving very, very slowly. Very, very slidey as well from that Haas. I think he's really, really struggling for grip. These are only 8-lap old medium tyres. We are on lap 25 here in Austin with the leaders. Obviously watching the lap 24 battle here between IRL Max and St Johnstone. IRL Max now getting very, very close to that Haas. Surely now would be the time he's going to make the move up into turn 1. Can IRL Max get close enough to that Haas? He can't. He cannot get close enough as DJ Danny moves himself up into 4th position. I have just seen that IRL Max locks up on the left-hand side going into turn 1 braking zone. And all of that hard work that he did watching St Johnstone make that mistake on those S's.
Oh, this is like
going to have to really try and work that back.
This is almost like watching the ballet. These boys have come so close to touching on the last 5 corners, 6 corners. And James F1 and DJ Danny could be the best racers I've seen side by side in a long time.
DJ Danny trying to make the move on James F1 ETC. Is he going to make it stick? These drivers are getting so close to each other as they move up through turn 2 here on lap 26. It is the Renault of DJ Danny, the man currently sitting in 3rd place in the driver's standings. Just in front of him, James F1 ETC, the man who finished on the 2nd step of the podium the last time IRL raced in Austria. Can Danny make the move? Danny's still the only driver on track without a penalty. That is the most important thing to bear in mind, ladies and gents. Especially because when we look at these timings, CSR Maitland, 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Botch Gerbil, 6 seconds worth of time penalties. As DJ Danny with a DRS open, is he going to make that move on James F1 ETC? He is indeed. He's definitely going to make that stick. James is not going to bother fighting that back into turn 12. DJ Danny moves himself up into 3rd position here, and with Botched Gerbil's time penalties, that's going to be enough for Danny to move up into P2, Dom.
Yeah, and if he can get close enough, if he can catch Botched Gerbil, which it's doable. It's doable. He has to pick about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds a lap, which he's on the soft compound, so it's possible. He could take P1, which is ultimately to catch his teammate what he wants out of this race.
Indeed, especially with his teammate Liverpool Ewing down in P6 at the moment. We will quickly go and have a look at Liverpool Ewing. Would have just seen his teammate take turn 1 there. They are a lot closer than I thought they actually were. Liverpool Ewing trying to hunt down Raza, who is on 5-lap older medium tyres. So Liverpool Ewing will have very, very slight additional grip in comparison to Raza. CSR Maitland still leading the race. The man who has led this race for the majority of the race, our pole sitter in the Haas. We are riding on board that, as I say, with our championship leader, Liverpool Ewing. Little lock up there on the left-hand side as he tries to make that turn into turn 11. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, Dom, up at turn 12.
Yeah, I think it's just where lappers have been caught and they're just moving aside.
It's a very, very slow-moving Saini there. He is a lapped car, so he will have to try and move over where it is safe to do so to allow DJ Danny through, which is exactly what Saini does. Then moves over to the right hand side to allow DJ Danny to move through those fast right-handers, trying not to hold up his race any more than he needs to. We are going to quickly drop down onto CJ Allen, though, who is now hunting down Liverpool Ewing. CJ Allen in the Soul Alpha Tauri this evening. He is going to get DRS on Liverpool Ewing. Is he going to be able to get close enough to make a move as we are on the final lap of the race here in Austin? We will be looking at CSR Maitland's position on track, as has become somewhat of a formality with us. We do like to watch the lead driver cross the line before jumping back down and watching some of these other battles. But saying that, this is such a strong battle, I might not be able to take my eyes off it. CJ Allen versus Liverpool Ewan versus Raza. We're going to quickly look at DJ Danny though. DJ Danny not close enough to Botch Gerbil. He can see Botch Gerbil ahead of him though. But more importantly, he's got the red warning light for fuel. DJ Danny, has he pushed a little bit too much? As Liverpool Ewan looking to make a move on Raza. He's got DRS going down the main straight here. That's going to be a very, very easy move there for our championship leader, Liverpool Ewan, into the braking zone of turn 12. Does lock up a little bit there, trying to see if he can hunt down James F1 ETC. We will quickly go to CSR Maitland, who is coming through the final few turns here. He's going to take the double left-hander here. There is turn 19. Going through into turn 20. CSR Maitland in the Haas crosses the line and wins here in Austin at the US Grand Prix. We are now going to quickly jump down to DJ Danny, who crosses the line and does finish in P2. He was close enough to Botch Gerbil to be able to take those positions. As you can see further on down the grid now, guys, you are seeing these drivers starting to cross the line. Liverpool Ewan finishing in P6 after penalties. James F1 ETC in P4, Raza P5, Liverpool Ewan P6. CJ Allen in 7th, Sir Sharks in 8th. We've just watched Nathan HRX cross the line in P9. El Senado is coming through these fast right-handers now. I'm going to just quickly jump down to St Johnston, who is really trying to hunt down IRL Mats. IRL Mats did eventually make that move stick against St Johnston. It is going to be St Johnston versus IRL Mats. There is our race winner jumping into the party. CSR Maitland, we will speak to you in just a second, my friend. St Johnston coming in on the left hand side of this turn 19. IRL Mats a little bit slow under braking. Is St Johnston going to get close enough to IRL Mats? He is not. As we cross the line. Whew. St Johnston finishing in P13 there. Getting our podium places into the party now.
If you boys could just remember to include your audio into the stream, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Don. It's just as I was about to say. We will quickly have a look at the podium celebrations here. There he is, CSR Maitland on the top step of that podium there, with the Williams of Botch Gerbil to his left in P3, and in P2 it is DJ Danny in the Renault. So to confirm what we are seeing here, ladies and gents, we will just load up the final race standings. CSR Maitland is your race winner. DJ Danny 3.298 seconds behind in P2. Botch Gerbil in 3rd. James F1 ETC. Raz at 410. Liverpool Ewan, CJ Allen, Sir Sharks, Nathan HRX and El Senado rounds out your top 10. And as you can see, the other drivers just there below: Stallion, IRL Mats, St Johnson, XHRC, Saini and Jamie 29X, unfortunately not finishing due to amassing a little bit too many penalties. Whew, and I will now take a nice long deep breath as I hand over to my broadcast colleague Dom the Noodle, who will perform the podium post-race interviews. Dom.
Yeah, so CSR Maitland, great race, great pole position, 0.02 of a second between you and P2. What were your thoughts coming into the race with such a thin gap?
Yeah, I was quite nervy because I don't know if you saw, but my last lap I completely binned it in the wall, and for that to be the last lap before the race isn't great for the confidence. But I managed to hold it together. I mean, I lost 2 places almost turn 1 as the racing point absolutely sent it away inside from miles back. Got pushed well on the curb a little bit, but managed to keep P2, and then I knew Danny was going to be a threat. He always is. I don't know what happened to Ewan in the background, but he must have had contact somewhere. But it was all about keeping the tyres, especially in the first stint, so that I could go as long as possible and make sure the mediums would go to the end in the second stint. And yeah, I'm just happy to come away with the car intact and secure the P1.
Yeah, great race as well. So obviously you had to fight hard a lot of the race. I'm not sure. I don't think you did put a set of hards on. What was your thought on the two-stop?
I actually went for the one-stop soft to medium.
That
was a
would
bit
make sense.
unorthodox, should I say?
Yeah, that's okay. That's a bit more bold than I thought. That's very audacious. What was your thought going on that strategy then? Because obviously soft to hard is what is recommended if you're going to do the one stop. Soft to medium is almost insane.
Yeah, I'd done it previously, so I had some experience of when to box and stuff like that, but it was all about keeping the tyres going, decent temps, keeping it nice and smooth, especially in sector 2, as that part can really rip up your tyres. But yeah, I listened to good old Famoso before the race. He goes, keep it clean, and except for the 3-second penalty, I did. So that was the key to the win in the end.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm just trying to check something here. Okay, yeah, I was right. On to Silverstone next week. How much is your confidence going to be boosted going into Silverstone after such a sort of showmanship race here today?
Silverstone's never particularly been a good track for me, but until today, Keiran wasn't either, so I'm going to take it every track as we go. Hopefully we can qualify up there again. If not, go alternate strategy because it's very, very strong at Silverstone, but I'm just going to hope to be up there with the top boys, Ewan, Danny, James, just be up there, and then as long as you're up there, yours in with a shout, so it's all going to be about that.
Awesome, thank you, and congratulations for tonight's win.
Thank you.
You deserved it.
Cheers, mate.
Now to DJ Danny. Danny, congratulations.
Hello.
Well fought. I have many questions, and I could go on for hours. But what happened between the Renault team tonight? Obviously, you wouldn't let you past because you were on A, the softer tyre, and B, the fresher set of tyres. But what happened? You guys just seemed sort of, no offense, but sort of off your game in a way.
I mean, qualifying was okay. Not our usual higher standards of 1 and 2, but I think 3 and 4 wasn't too bad. And the thing is, I kind of messed up every lap in some section, so I believe I could have gone faster to get pole. But it's just one of those things where when the time comes to it, I didn't get the pole position. Had a good start, and then I believe it was Raza went up to the inside of both me and Maitland. And I don't know what happened to Ewan, because Ewan was P4 going into turn 1, and then he was P9 by the end of the lap. So I have no idea what went on there. I don't know if there was contact or something like that. But yeah, I pitted early purely for the fact that Ewan pitted early. So as well, he's my championship rival, so I want to outscore him. So I think covering Ewan was the right move, but it did put me onto a 2-stop, and that meant that I had a lot of work to come back through the field. Obviously, I tried to hold Maitland's off as long as I could to give me as best a chance as possible, and I think a couple more laps, and if this race was 2 laps longer, maybe could have done it, because I think obviously the softer medium that Maitland did, I mean, I don't think I could have done that even if So yeah, hats off to him. But yeah, I had P2, and considering Ewan finished 6th, is it?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
P6.
There you go.
Yeah. So P6, you know, I've gained some points back, and hopefully he can continue to have races like this. Obviously, I think he'll bounce back in Silverstone, and well, hopefully I can give him a hard time there again. Silverstone is quite a nice track, so hopefully we can have more of the same with getting on the podium, and hopefully top step this time.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were like, there's got to be something on with the Renault team. They just seem not themselves. Was it because of the break bite, do you think? The 1 week break that we had, or do you just think it wasn't a strong track for you and that you were just outraced because not that strong of a track?
I mean, considering the results we've had, it's not been like we've been finishing, you know, 20 seconds ahead of everyone else. I mean, it has been, we've had to fight for some races. It's just that so far it's worked out that we've come out ahead. So I wouldn't say it's like we've had an off day or anything like that. I just think it's the guys have come on. It's the other guys' days too, and I mean, you can't win them all. So I wouldn't say it's an off day by you, and I'd just say it's just the other guys did a better job. I mean, Maitland did a better job on the tyres, and yeah, I was, to be honest, I was lucky to get P2 in the end because of penalties. And I guess that's one thing that helped me is keeping it clean. I think I only got one warning all race. So yeah, I don't think it's an off day, just the guys did a better job, and obviously congrats to Maitland's on his first win.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, obviously you did do a lot of fighting to get up to P2, ever since you stopped for that second set of second set of soft tyres. Were your thoughts at all that you might have sort of unsettled yourself because of the two-stop? Did you once think that there was going to be an issue, you were going to get caught in traffic and hit someone and lose a wing and have to box again? Or was it just, I'm just going to try and keep to myself, stay out of the way, and just hope and pray there isn't too much traffic in sectors 2 and 3?
I knew, to be honest, when I came out and I was behind Ewan, I was expecting him to fight me, if I'm honest, and I was surprised when he let me pass into turn 1. And I mean, fair play to him. I mean, not all the teammates would do that, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I think to be honest, I thought it was going to be another Japan. There I did a 2-stop when others did a 1-stop, and I finished P6. And to be honest, I thought that when I boxed and then I saw how far Maitland went on those tyres, I thought, yeah, maybe this is the wrong strategy. But I just got my head down, and you know, my main aim, I knew I didn't have to necessarily pass a lot of people, I just had to catch up to them, because I knew that quite a few ahead of me had penalties, which did help with not having to push so hard. But yeah, I think this track, once your tyres die, they die, so it was kind of, I knew I could catch a few of them, but to be honest, I would have been happy with 3rd or 4th. So to get 2nd is a very good result.
Yeah, awesome. Well done tonight as well for taking P2. You touched on Silverstone. Good track for you? Think you can come home with a top step, or?
I think another podium will be the objective. I don't know. I don't want to say. Obviously, I want to win every race, but I know that's not realistic. So I think, just to be honest, the objective now is just to outscore you, because obviously it is a long shot for the championship. But if I can continue to knock those points, and if Ewan can have positions where he finishes like this, or then obviously that can help me all the more. But we shall see. I hope I can get another podium.
Awesome, awesome. Well done tonight. I will hand it off to Keiran to do the last interview, and then after that, I do have one question for him.
Not a problem. Thank you, Dom. And yes, massive congratulations to CSR Maitland for the win and DJ Danny for that P2. And Mr. Botch Gerbil, on to you, sir. Consecutive races.
Yeah.
We're having you on the podium in post-race interviews. Describe your race for me.
It went quite well. USA isn't always my strongest track, and I didn't have the best qualifying and validated my last lap, so I never got to run when the track was at its best, but I had a really good start, able to make up one position, and then was just managing the tires for the rest of the race. I was really happy to just get on the podium, and yeah, really good weekend for me.
Good to hear. So, yeah, the penalties, were you sort of looking over your shoulder thinking, oh no, Danny's really starting to catch me now, I might lose this P2? Or was it sort of just a case of try and get as close as I can to Maitland to see if I can get P1 off of him?
Yeah, I was running with 2 warnings for, I don't know, maybe 12 laps before I got that last one and got the 6 seconds, so I was really on edge knowing I was probably going to get that last penalty, so I wasn't quite too upset when Danny got me on the time penalties, but yeah, no, it was just maintaining my pace. I really tried to push there at the end to keep the gap as much as possible, and yeah, just did my best.
So as I say, it's back-to-back third steps on the podium for you now. That should, without any other results coming in, put you 8 points behind Farfu, who of course didn't race this week, for what would be third in the drivers' standings. Is that now sort of your main aim for next week in Great Britain, to try and see if you can outscore Farfu by those 8 points and take that third place in the drivers' championship?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to go 3 for 3. That would be really nice. 3 podiums in 3 weekends, but I know Fairfu's quite quick, and Britain's quite a hard track to do well on. A lot of battling goes on there, so it'll be quite interesting, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, Silverstone's quite a technical track in parts. Is it a track that you are a fan of, or is it one that you may potentially struggle with come next week?
I have a more safer setup that I go around there, so I'm not as quick on pace, but my consistency is really strong around there, so I'm hoping to use that to my advantage.
Very good, very good. Well, congratulations on that P3, and I believe Dom had one question for you.
No, for you, Keiran.
Oh, for me?
Yeah,
Oh.
for you.
Yes, thank you
What was
guys.
that question, my friend. Yeah, thank you guys. Cheers.
Thank you. I know who mine is, but try and start a new tradition. Your driver of the day.
I think it'd have to be Maitland. A man who pretty much led from the start. There was a few laps where he wasn't up right at the front of the pack, but for the majority of the race, I don't think Maitland dropped anything lower than about 4th or 5th. So yeah, pretty easy for me. Maitland gets my driver of the day. And yours, Dom?
Yeah, same, Maitland, but main reason is, like he said, he done a 1-stop on a soft and a medium set of tyres. That is nothing short of impressive. And like you said, he didn't drop too far, and was provisional P1 for the majority, because he did have drivers to stop ahead of him. So yeah, congratulations to Maitland, and I can see him winning Driver of the Week in the Twitter poll come Thursday or Friday when it gets posted on Twitter.
Well, you never know. You never know. You've still got the realistic league on Thursday.
But we do have that league, and I could see some drivers taking some inspiration from Maitland. So Maitland, if they do, congratulations, you're an inspiration to many. But yeah, no, congratulations to everyone who raced today. It's very hard to drive at Kota, but yeah, especially to Maitland, who managed to take 2 sets of tyres that really have short lifespans and extend them beyond what should be, and bring home P1. That is impressive.
Indeed, indeed. So I will mirror what Dom has just said there and give a massive congratulations again to our podium here at the Circuit of the Americas. This does now, however, bring us to the end of our broadcast this evening. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening and continued to support IRL. IRL Xbox is back this Thursday as Andrew and his new broadcast colleague Matt take you through the action in the Realistic Performance League. Dom and I will be back on your screens next Tuesday with the F1 Xbox League from Silverstone at the British Grand Prix. So please join us then. But for more IRL racing action, be sure to head to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/InvictusRL. Follow us on Twitter at InvictusRL, on Instagram at InvictusRacingLeague, and be sure to check out the website InvictusRacingLeague.com. But until next time, from myself, Keiran 92 and Dom the Noodle, thank you for watching. Good night.